The crime scene is not a bank vault. The crime scene is not a dark alley. The crime scene is right inside the front pocket. Imagine a casino, a place with no windows and no clocks, designed by psychologists to make time disappear. Now, imagine carrying that casino everywhere. The average human unlocks their smartphone 150 times every single day. This behavior is not a habit. This behavior is a biological loop. This behavior is an addiction. For decades, the world feared a dystopian future controlled by robots with guns. But the apocalypse did not arrive with a bang. The apocalypse arrived with a ping. Silicon Valley did not build a communication tool. The tech giants built a digital slot machine. Every notification is a spin of the wheel. Every red badge is a promise of a reward. A text message, a like, a new follower, or nothing at all. The uncertainty is the drug. The brain craves the unpredictable reward. This is the largest psychological experiment in history. The subjects are billions of human beings. The drug is dopamine, and the dealers are the richest companies on Earth. They call it user engagement, but in the dark rooms of behavioral design, the experts call it addiction by design. The user thinks the internet is free. The user is wrong. If the product is free, the user is the product. This is the story of how a handful of geniuses hacked the human brain, stole the world's attention, and built a trillion-dollar empire on the vulnerability of the human mind. Welcome to the Dopamine Cartel. The blueprint for this digital prison was not drawn in a corporate boardroom. The blueprint was drawn in a classroom at Stanford University. The year is late 1990s. The place is the Persuasive Technology Lab. A brilliant academic named B.J. Fogg begins to teach a radical new concept, captology, the study of computers as persuasive technologies. The professor discovers a fundamental truth. Computers can be designed to change what people think and what people do. The intention was noble. The professor wanted to use technology to help humans exercise more, eat healthier, and stop smoking. The goal was to program positive habits. But the classroom was filled with young, ambitious students. These students would not go on to build health apps. These students would go on to build Instagram, Uber, and LinkedIn. The students learned the Fogg behavior model. For a behavior to happen, 3 things must converge at the same moment: motivation, ability, and a trigger. The trigger is the spark. If the phone buzzes at the exact moment the user is bored, the user will obey. This academic knowledge was the fire of Prometheus, and like Prometheus, the academics gave the fire to mortals who did not understand the heat. The knowledge migrated from the university labs to the startup garages of Silicon Valley. The young engineers realized that persuasion could be monetized. If an app can persuade a user to run a mile, the app can also persuade a user to scroll for an hour. The mission shifted. The goal was no longer human well-being. The goal became growth hacking. The investors demanded viral growth. The engineers needed to hook users fast and hard. They took the psychological textbooks and turned the theories into code. The persuasion lab taught them how to push the buttons of the human psyche, but the Silicon Valley giants decided to never let the buttons go. The tools of liberation were quietly reforged into the chains of addiction. The mechanism is simple. The mechanism is biological. The mechanism is called variable ratio reinforcement. In the mid-20th century, B.F. Skinner placed a rat inside a box. The rat pressed a lever. Sometimes the rat received food. Sometimes the rat received nothing. The unpredictability drove the rat insane. The rat pressed the lever until the rat collapsed. Silicon Valley took the lever and digitized the lever. Consider the pull to refresh feature on Twitter or Facebook. When the user drags the screen down, the loading icon spins. The app waits. The delay is not technical. The delay is theatrical. The delay creates anticipation. The delay mimics the spinning wheels of a slot machine. The brain releases dopamine not when the reward arrives, but while the wheel is spinning. Then there is the infinite scroll. Ozzy Raskin, the engineer who invented the feature, later called the invention behavioral cocaine. In the physical world, a book has a final page. A glass of wine has a bottom. The digital feed has no bottom. The feed never ends. The brain never receives the visual cue to stop. The user consumes content like a zombie eating from a bottomless bowl. And finally, the like button. Justin Rosenstein helped create the like button to spread positivity. Rosenstein did not know the button would become a metric of social worth. These features are not design choices. These features are psychological weapons. The technology bypasses the rational frontal cortex and speaks directly to the primitive lizard brain. The user does not scroll because the user makes a conscious choice. The user scrolls because the biological circuit is trapped in a loop. The battlefield is invisible. The battlefield is everywhere. The war is not fought for land or oil. The war is fought for human eyes. In the data centers of the tech giants, a war room operates 24 hours a day. The enemy is sleep. The enemy is family dinners. The enemy is reading a book. The goal is to capture the finite currency of human attention. The weapon of choice is the recommendation algorithm, a supercomputer powered by artificial intelligence, constantly learning, constantly testing, constantly evolving. The algorithm has a single cold directive: maximize time on device. The algorithm does not care about truth. The algorithm does not care about democracy. The algorithm cares about engagement. And the algorithm learned a dark secret about human nature very quickly. Joy is passive. Anger is active. If the feed shows a puppy, the user smiles and scrolls away. If the feed shows a political conspiracy, a threat, or an insult, the user stops. The user comments. The user shares. The user fights. Anger generates engagement. Fear generates retention. The machine realized that hate is the most efficient fuel for the engine of profit. So the system feeds the user a steady diet of rage bait. The system creates a filter bubble, isolating the user in an echo chamber of radicalization. The AI predicts exactly what video will keep the eyes open for another 10 minutes. The AI knows the user better than the user knows the self. The engineers wrote the code, but the machine took over the strategy. The platform is no longer a town square. The platform is a gladiator arena designed to monetize conflict. Every second of outrage adds a fraction of a cent to the stock price. The user is burning with manufactured rage, and the server farm hums in cold, profitable silence. The fatal flaw was not in the code. The fatal flaw was in the arrogance of the architects. The creators believed the creators could control the creation. The creators were wrong. Dr. Frankenstein lost control of the monster. The Silicon Valley engineers lost control of the feed. The most terrifying evidence is not found in the statistics. The evidence is found in the homes of the tech elite. The drug dealer never consumes the supply. The software engineers who build these addictive digital worlds send the engineered children to the Waldorf School of the Peninsula, a school with blackboards, chalk, and zero computers. Steve Jobs introduced the iPad to the world as a magical device. But Steve Jobs did not let the Jobs children use the iPad. Chamath Palihapitiya, a former executive who helped grow Facebook, later confessed to feeling tremendous guilt. The executives limit screen time. The executives ban phones at the dinner table. The executives know the truth. The elite know the screen is a digital Skinner box. The elite know the brain is malleable. The elite protect the elite families, while the elite sell digital heroin to the rest of the world. The flaw was the belief that the algorithm would remain a tool, but the tool evolved into a master. The algorithm now shapes culture, swings elections, and rewires the neural pathways of an entire generation. The engineers wrote the initial rules, but the machine is now writing the future. The genie is out of the bottle, and the genie refuses to go back inside. The system was designed to monetize attention. The system succeeded too well. The system broke the very social fabric the system claimed to connect. Walk into a cafe. Walk onto a subway train. Look around. The silence is heavy. The silence is deafening. The heads are bowed. The spines are curved. The eyes are locked on the artificial glow. The human race has not evolved into super beings. The human race has evolved into data terminals. The Homo sapiens has become the Homo distractus. The Dopamine Cartel won the war without firing a single bullet. The victory is total. The smartphone is no longer a tool in the pocket. The smartphone is the external hard drive of the human soul. When the battery dies, the anxiety begins. The notifications will not stop. The scroll will not end. The algorithm will not sleep. Check the screen time report. Look at the number. That number is not just data. That number is life, vanishing into the cloud, sold to the highest bidder. One final question remains. Did the user choose to watch this video, or did the code decide for the user?